I heard you don't like yourself, and I think we need to have a talk. My name is Bella. I'm a life coach, and I help women empower themselves through self-confidence and self-love. And this one is for you. I used to hate myself since I have memory, I would say. And I hated myself for at least like 20 years of my life. And I can tell and I know how it feels like to look at yourself in the mirror and spend hours crying because you can't find anything that you like. I know how it feels like to just look at yourself and just see flaws everywhere. Look at everyone else and think everyone else has something that you don't have. Or think that everyone else is just better than you and you're just not enough. I know how it feels like, and I know how difficult it is to live when you feel like this. I know because I lived it, and also because I am helping a woman go through it. But I know that in some kind of way makes you feel like you're not even worthy of living. That you're just empty, and you feel empty, and clearly you don't feel enough, but also life doesn't feel enough. It's like you're just waiting for something miracles to happen. And I'm glad though that you clicked in this video, because maybe this is a moment for you to wake up and see how beautiful you are. But not just because you're beautiful, you know, you need to start giving your own meaning to what beautiful is. What does beautiful mean to you? Because beautiful is not only being pretty. Beautiful is a state of life. You know, life is just beautiful, even if it's ugly sometimes. You know, you need to find what beauty means to you, because it's not only about your looks, you know, it's about your heart. And actually, it's more about your heart than about your looks. Beauty is how you are towards others, how you are towards yourself, how kind you are, how loving, caring, how much of a good person you are, how respectful you are, how tolerant you are, how you care and how you love. And all of that is way more beautiful than just your looks, you know? But clearly, if you don't love yourself, then it's kind of hard to think even that you're beautiful, because maybe you don't treat yourself like it. And I understand, because as I said before, I also spent years of my life not only not liking myself, but hating myself and treating myself in the most horrendous ways, you know, treating myself just like a body and just overtraining, dieting, but extremely dieting, barely eating, barely sleeping, hanging out with people that didn't care about me at all, but because I didn't care about me at all, you know. But deep down, I knew I was a good person. And somehow I found way through that. Somehow I found faith through that. You get me? You need to find faith through the things that you know that are certain about yourself. Because if you're honest, and please be honest with yourself, beauty always depends on the eyes looking at you, you know? So it can never be universal, even if, of course, there are some like beauty standards. But apart from that, really, someone that may look beautiful, even universally talking on what the standards are like, can be very, very disgusting if his behavior is. And if he's not a good person, if he doesn't have a good heart, or he's just very like, just not good, you know, not respectful. And I'm sure you've seen that, because probably you've seen like some kind of trash TV where you see people that are like this, men and women. And then you see, even if they look beautiful, they are not beautiful. They're just attractive. You don't even feel attracted to them because really they don't have beauty, you know? So I know it's hard to look at yourself, but I want you to do that not from your external looks, but from your internal self. You know, I want you to see how good of a friend you are, how good of a daughter you are, how good of a just human being you are, because you care and you are respectful. And I'm sure all the things you say to yourself, about how you look ugly, or I'm pretty sure you would never say something like that to anyone, you know. And that already makes you very beautiful, because there are people that do that, you know. So take another perspective on what beauty means to you. And I want you to know that everyone is just perfect. And if we are parting from this, you know, if we are already basing reality in that everyone is already perfect, then there is no doubts that you also are, you know. You just need to believe that. And being perfect is also being imperfect, you know. But I want you to know, just because you're alive, that already makes you perfect. And imagine how perfect is your body already, that it led you through this whole human experience till today, you know. It breathes, it helps you walk, it helps you move, it does all their internal, you know, processes by itself. You don't even have to think about it, you know. You don't even have to think about your digestion or going to the bathroom. Just your body decides, you know. And that's already very beautiful, and that's perfect, you know. And sometimes it really is that easy, you know. And of course, maybe you don't feel beautiful every day, but you're still beautiful no matter what, you know. And even if you have never felt beautiful in your entire life, I'm sure if you just take one moment to see how many things you are internally and how many things you've accomplished so far, girl, you're so worth it. Like, you deserve heaven, you know. So don't be so hard on yourself. I know it's tough, I know it's hard, and I know sometimes you don't even want to live, you know, because you feel so unworthy and so miserable. And that's only because you're all the time comparing yourself, you know. Because if you would be focusing on yourself as much as you're focusing towards others, I seriously think you would be your biggest fan and not your hater, you know. You wouldn't have time to see what others are doing, and you wouldn't have time to compare yourself and think you're behind, or to think that you're not enough. Compared to who, you know? Because not even what those people are showing on social media is real, you know. Just start embracing yourself for who you are, not only by your looks, but really by your energy and your presence, because I'm sure you're very loving and caring and kind, and you wouldn't treat like that anyone. And you wouldn't imagine, if you would have your best friend, you wouldn't ever say any of those words that you say to yourself. So start treating yourself like your best friend. And for me, this is really the biggest advice I can give you, if you can take anything from this video, is that treat yourself like you are your best friend, because you are. And you wouldn't ever say anything bad to your best friend, and you would never hurt your best friend. So stop hurting yourself. Pray to God, have faith, things are getting better, you are getting better, and you deserve heaven, you deserve the best. And that's it. Leave a little comment if this video helped, like, subscribe, and reach out if you need anything from me, okay? I love you, and I deserve the best, and I deserve the best, and you deserve the best. So I wish you the best, and you've got this. See you in the next one.